The views and opinions expressed on this channel are solely those of the host and guest and are intended for entertainment and discussion purposes only. This channel does not promote bias, hatred, or discrimination of any kind. All questions posed and thoughts shared are part of a critical thinking exercise and are not meant to offend or judge any individual or group. We encourage respectful dialogue and love for all. Please remember to think critically and engage thoughtfully. We aim to foster a positive and inclusive community where everyone feels welcome. Thank you for being a part of Risky Behavior ENT.
Risky behavior. Risky behavior.
Yo, what's up? I am back. I had some technical difficulties, and so of course I had to end it and jump right back in. But hey, the show must go on, the show must continue, and I am back. I'm gonna be talking about two old cases today. I'm not talking about them because I'm trying to expose new evidence. I just wanted to talk about it's this thing that goes on in society where I feel like everything is just subjective. Even when it comes to justice, people who we see as victims, people that we see as villains, I find that if we don't like a person, we could sometimes dismiss them as being a victim, so to speak. You know, what's up? I got my brother, Mr. T, up in the building. What is up, brother? How you doing? How you doing? All right. So, if you're reading the title for today, when it is when the community turns away the deaths of Telvin Osborne and Christian Obumseli. And I hope I didn't butcher the name, but these are the two black men that were dating white women that were killed by those white women. And because of those, both of these brothers had, I ain't gonna lie, they had some fucked up tweets. They was bashing black women on the internet. And I gotta say, it seemed like the community rejoiced um when these brothers were murdered, killed. Let me go ahead and share my screen and bring it up. And why I'm talking about it is because people can't let it go. I was on Threads and people are still tweeting and threading about these cases. They are constantly they're still coming up. All right, there we go. All right. So I was on Threads, and this is what made me talk about this today. I'm on Threads, and then I see this thread. Charges dropped against white woman in Burke County shooting death of her black boyfriend. Now, these charges were dropped back in May of 2025. But people still having conversations about this and still talking about it. And this is from today. You can see 19 hours ago. The case was presented to a grand jury on April 24th, but the grand jury decided not to pursue formal charges. That doesn't necessarily mean formal charges can't be filed later, but Williams appears inclined to follow the grand jury's lead, right? Here goes somebody right up under that. I'm just mad that the gas prices keep going up every day, right? So they're basically letting the person know, hey, we don't really give a damn about this case. This black guy was dating this white woman, bashing black women, and we don't give a shit. Okay. And so that's what I wanted to talk about. Should we be that way? And I'm not making this to judge nobody. I'll share my honest feelings at the end of this. Also, as you come in the room, if you could thumbs up, it's free, don't cost you a thing. If you thumbs up the video, put me in the algorithm. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Don't forget to hit your notification bell. And also they got the new hype feature. So, but I'm not, hey, I understand you only get 3 of those a week. So I get it. If I ain't your favorite yet, you probably got somebody else you want to hype up, and that's all cool with me. So today I'm going to dive into 2 cases that shook the culture, not just because of the violence, not just because of the racial dynamics, but because of the uncomfortable truth underneath both stories. 2 black men died at the hands of their white girlfriends, 2 cases filled with contradictions, privilege, and questionable investigations, and 2 men who, before their deaths, publicly disrespected black women. The same community that historically fights the hardest for justice. So this episode isn't about dragging the dead. It's about examining the risky behavior that shaped these tragedies, the risky behavior of the victims, the risky behavior of the women involved, and the risky behavior of a community that sometimes withholds empathy based on personal feelings. Because justice is not emotional. Well, at least it shouldn't be. It's not selective. Well, at least it shouldn't be. And when we decide someone doesn't deserve justice, we repeat the same system that has denied justice to black people for generations. And that's my message today, is when we decide someone doesn't deserve justice, we repeat the same system that has denied justice to black people or any minority for generations. So the first one I'm gonna get into is the death of Telvin Osborne, and it's gonna be a quick like just overview, and I'm gonna be going back and forth about things that are going on. So first, I'm going to talk about Telvin Osborne first. So on February 23rd of 2025, deputies arrived at a home in Keysville, Georgia, where they found 30-year-old Telvin Osborne dead from a single gunshot wound to the chest. His girlfriend, 25-year-old Hannah Grace Cobb, gave investigators 2 completely different explanations. First, claiming she was cleaning her 9mm pistol when it accidentally discharged. Then later saying Osborne threatened her with a knife during an argument. These contradictions immediately raised questions, but with no witnesses and only Cobb's version of events, the case became a battle of narratives. 2 days later, Cobb was arrested and charged with felony involuntary manslaughter. Prosecutors presented the case to a grand jury in April, but by May, the grand jury returned a no bail, meaning Cobb would face no charges. The district attorney announced the case was closed, leaving Osborne's family and many in the community stunned, but not surprised. All right. And this is just I'm gonna play some news clips to just jog memory, I guess.
An arrest has been made in a shooting in Burke County. The Burke County Sheriff's Office announced today that Hannah Grace Cobb was charged with involuntary manslaughter in the death of Telvin Osborne. Osborne was shot in the chest at a home on 4 Points Road on Sunday and pronounced dead at the hospital. Investigators say alcohol was involved and the shooting was not accidental.
The offenses committed leading up to the discharge of the firearm included simple battery, family violence, and reckless conduct. It is reckless to go out and get drunk and then introduce a firearm into an argument. It is reckless to engage in an argument where there's pushing and shoving going on. And those are the predicate charges for the charge of involuntary manslaughter.
Sheriff Williams says more charges could be coming as the investigation continues.
All right, and this is just
Thanks,
showing
Michaela.
the charges
Huge
got
development
dropped.
this evening in a Burke County case we've been following since February. A grand jury, has chosen to not indict Hannah Cobb, who was accused of shooting and killing 30-year-old Telvin Osborne. Now, this all went down on February 23rd at a home on 4 Points Road. Hannah Cobb was later charged with felony involuntary manslaughter. In a press conference, the Burke County sheriff later confirmed that there had been an altercation before the shooting and drinking was involved. There were two different stories told in Hannah Cobb's bond hearing. One where Cobb claimed that the gunfire was accidental, and another where there was an altercation. Cobb's defense says Cobb lied in her initial 911 call and says the shooting was in self-defense. They say Osborne had a large knife and was threatening her. The latest news is that in late April, a Burke County grand jury decided not to indict Cobb, which now means the case is closed. That does not mean that formal charges won't be brought up in the future or could be brought up in the future. But District Attorney Jared Williams says the case is done for now. The grand jury has spoken.
Augusta still.
Mm-hmm. All righty then.
Turning now.
All right, all right. So this is Telvin here with the woman that would take his life after shooting him in the chest. Now, so the controversy surrounding Osborne's death wasn't just about the shooting. It was about the racial dynamics in the justice system's response. A white woman gave conflicting stories about killing the black man, yet the grand jury declined to indict her. Many saw this as another example of the South's long history of protecting white defenders at the expense of black victims. But the conversation took another turn when Osborne's old social media post resurfaced, where he reportedly said, "I'd rather sleep with a dog than a black woman." I repeat, old social media posts resurfaced, and his words were, well, what he typed was, "I'd rather sleep with a dog than a black woman." And the actual post is longer than that because he added on to that and says, "And the dog better be white." So so when Osborne's post resurfaced, the reaction was immediate and it was divided. Many black women expressed deep hurt, saying they felt no emotional connection to his case because he had publicly disrespected them. Others said they felt conflicted, grieving the injustice, but unable to ignore his words. A smaller but vocal group argued that regardless of his comments, a black man was killed and deserved justice. This split revealed a painful truth. When victims alienate their own community, the fight for justice becomes complicated, even when the facts are clear. All right. Let me get over into this article. Shout out SR Warren says Telvin would be pleased with the verdict. Or he say he would be pleased with the verdict. You know what? That's one way to look at it, Warren. Yeah. He might have been. He might have been. I'm just here to have a conversation. I don't feel no either way about it, to be honest with you. There's nothing none of us can do about it. But I do wonder, like, are we able to because it's always when you talk about like morality, justice, things like that, we want to say there's no emotion. But I think it is. I think there is an emotion there. All right. So this is an article from Where Is the Buzz titled Telvin Osborne once said he'd rather sleep with a dog than a black woman. Now he's dead, and social media has thoughts. I don't know. The way they wrote that was kind of fucked up. Oh man, let me zoom in a little bit. Did I do that right? All right, so. All right, here, stick with me. All right, the fatal shooting of Telvin Osborne has ignited a storm of reactions across social media, not only due to the circumstances of his death, but also because of his past comments disparaging black women. Many online users have expressed mixed feelings, with some showing no sympathy for Osborne, citing his own words as evidence of deep-seated self-hatred. All right. So here that I guess they're covering all right, so they recover his death in this article, saying Telvin Osborne, the 30-year-old father from Burke County, Georgia, was shot and killed by his 28-year-old girlfriend, Hannah Cobb. And they say he was a father. I wonder, because, people say these things come from self-hate. And I wonder, was his baby mama black or something? Maybe, he had a bad experience and he did like most people do. They get on the internet and they lash out. Anywho. Initially, Cobb claimed the shooting was accidental, stating she had been cleaning a firearm after a night out at the club. However, after further investigation and mounting public outrage, authorities charged her with involuntary manslaughter. Okay, so we already know what happened with that. They charged her, but took it to the grand jury. They dropped the charges. All right. Let's get into the controversial comments resurfaced. Following news of Osborne's death, past statements attributed to him began circulating online, sparking heated debates. A resurfaced quote allegedly from Osborne stated, "I'll F a dog before I F a black." Oh, so he said the B word. Yeah. "I F a dog before I F a black B. It gotta be a white dog, though." And I'm saying it like that because that's how he typed it. So, well, you can see it right here. They kind of got it blurry. Probably because it's just a very negative post. I can't believe somebody would say it. But it says here it was posted by someone named Tevin Tremaine D. Lakes. Says this N-word here. Say he'll F a white dog before he F a black girl. So somebody and this not there was it wasn't just the women that obviously was getting on him, because you got men that's calling him out too. Probably because what he said was goofy shit. You know what I mean? So yeah. Shout out my brother T, says he brought that on himself. When you say you do it to yourself, what they say, T? What's that saying? I heard somebody say it when they was battle rapping, when you find yourself it's like a play with words. When you find yourself on the concrete, it'll be your own dumb ass fault. Like, asphalt. When you find yourself on the ground, it'll be your own dumb ass fault. So yeah. Yeah, he's a hard brother to defend. The next brother that I'm gonna do, I think, is even worse. I think his is kind of even worse. Right? Because I think he should have seen it coming. So I'm gonna get through this, then we'll get on to him. So it says this statement, along with other remarks praising white women while denigrating black women, has fueled a polarizing response to his death. Some social media users expressed sadness over his tragic fate, while others pointed out what they saw as the irony of his demise at the hands of the very demographic he exalted. That is a sad way to fucking go out. Damn. I mean, and I'm not even being funny. I'm just saying, like, when you think of a person like, oh man, like what was their last thoughts? And you looking up at this person that you've exalted and that you have lifted up. And that's the person that shoots you and kills you. Because honestly, it wouldn't matter if she did it on purpose or by accident. It's still crazy to be killed by the thing you love, be it accident or on purpose. So this article also covers social media reactions. The online response has been overwhelmingly critical, with many users condemning Osborne's words and suggesting that his fate was the result of internalized racism. One Twitter user expressed disappointment, revealing a personal connection to Osborne. Quote, "This one hurts because this is my man's family, but I still got to tell the truth. Old boy Telvin was on some coon shit with his praise of the white women's. I think all of them from the South or something. Women's? Anywho, this is just like that Nigerian dude that got poked up by his white blessing. Then we found all the Akatas Telbo. I don't know. That's how it reads. I don't know. Some people type crazy sometimes, and then when you quote them, it just come out weird. But the Nigerian dude is who we're gonna be talking about next. And because all these cases came back to back, and you can imagine it's already like, especially like in the Black community, it's already like a diaspora war, right? Then you got the gender war, right? Then you got the divestors, right? Then you got the swirl movement, right? And so it's a bunch of Black man versus Black women bullshit online every day, all day, right? You got them. Oh, I forgot. You got the passport brothers, right? You see what I'm saying? You got the passport women too. I think they just maybe a smaller, less talked about group, right? But so you got these two cases, two Black men like hyping they white women up, talking shit about Black women, and then both of them to be killed. It's just crazy. And I don't think Black women wasted any time in throwing up their W's. And then for other men that push, like me, I push Black people coming. I push all people coming together, right? You have men like me that push people coming together. Well, I didn't attack these brothers online, but you have some brothers that stepped out there and didn't maybe necessarily attack, but felt the need to open their mouth and be honest and say, hey, man, these brothers was on some goofy shit. And perhaps they brought it on themselves. Just maybe. Shout out my brother T in the comments says, yeah, he's a goofy cause and effect because you choose to express hate and use hate to fuel your decision to be with that woman. That hate was returned to you by what you love. Effect. Man, that's bars right there. And you're absolutely correct. He built the relationship all based off hate. How else was it supposed to turn out? And what's weird to me is that for the people that stay in relationships like that, like say if I was dating a white woman, right? And she was online talking shit about white men and all this, to me, it would make me feel weird. And so I would think it would equally make the other person in the relationship be weird. It's like, are you with the person because you care about the person? Or are you with the person because you hate your people? And you're putting that person in a dangerous position because you're using them. You're weaponizing your relationship is what you're doing. And you're using them as like, and so all you're going to do is cause that person to be attacked. You see what I'm saying? Versus as presenting your relationship just as a loving relationship, and you're not using it to knock or put anybody else down. Shout out to T says you would have been safer with a Black woman. Hell, even that white dog. He said maybe he should have went and got the dog because he'd be alive right now. Another user explicitly called for Black women to withhold sympathy, pointing to his past remarks. This is something that's very common that we see now on social media, where you'll have any group of people reach out to other members of that group and say, hey, y'all, we got to move on code. That's another thing. Also, I want to remind everybody while I'm having this conversation, not beating up or bashing the dead. I will give my opinion at the end. So this person is quoted as saying, Black women, remember to drink water and mind your business when it comes to sympathy for Telvin Osborne being killed by his white girlfriend. Hannah Cobb. He hated you and left the proof. Good riddance to both of them. A different perspective highlighted the broader issue of self-hatred disguised as preference. Quote, I don't care about anyone having preferences. I have one. But there's something wrong with most black men who have a preference, as they almost always invariably say things like this. And look what happened to him. Hashtag Telvin Osborne. And she's not even a pretty white woman at that. Right. And see what I mean by weaponizing your relationship. And you can see in the quote, even you have other white women in the white group that are going to take and catch strays because of this. You see what I'm saying? It'd be just like if I'm dating a white woman and she weaponizes our relationship like this brother was doing, right? And white men begin to respond. F that N word. You see what I'm saying? Because you push people, they push back. And that's why you shouldn't weaponize your relationship. Another user criticized the underlying psychology of such views. Quote, a lot of men are like Telvin Osborne. They say dating white women is their preference, when in reality, it's just their hatred for black women. But let someone speak about their black mother that way. You can date white women without having to disparage without having to disparage black women. See how many people caught that stray? So even that, listen to that quote. A lot of men are like Telvin Osborne. They say dating white women is their preference. Now, what's the problem with that? The people that weaponize it make it harder for the people that are not weaponizing it. You could have grew up in a town and just genuinely, naturally ran into somebody in the grocery store one day and y'all started dating and y'all were compatible and y'all just fell in love. But because you got other people out there weaponizing these type of relationships, now it's a lot of these men out there. And some people might see you in public and assume you one of those guys. Right? And then tie that into look at him. He over there with that white woman. He hate black women. Don't know the guy at all. Oh, yeah. Then look what it says. Someone speak about their black mother that way. Then they bring your mama into it. So then you also must have a bad relationship with your mom. So it's like a ripple effect when it comes to all this shit. All right. So we know we didn't get no justice. I'm gonna move on to the next guy. Let's see. Shout out to Warren, says the full story of their relationship explains a lot. And brother T says sympathy is for those who deserve it. You can provide sympathy to whoever you choose. You don't have to be sympathetic to someone based on shared race, religion, gender. Agreed. Also, if y'all hear like this noise that's my chair. It's not me passing gas or anything. So if you hear some like weird noise, it's my chair. I gotta put some oil on this damn chair. I had this chair for a while, but I refuse to get rid of it. My apologies. All right. Oh, and before I get into let me go through some of these I'm gonna just show you, like, go over some of these comments under these posts to show you just people just do not care because they know this. They know what this brother put out there into the atmosphere and on social media. So I already read the comment where it was said that the charges against his girlfriend, Miss Cobb, the charges was dropped. And you have a person that came up under here that says, I'm just mad that gas prices keep going up every day. In other words, don't give a fuck. I'm more worried about the gas. Somebody responded with a Trump meme to that because of him, whatever. Malik says, very misunfortunate to see black skin become a victim of generational white hatred while they were publicly known for hating black skin and women. Sambo dies with the house in every scenario. Okay. Here goes another person. Don't care. So that comment said he was a Sambo. Next comment, oh, what y'all doing tonight? It's raining. In other words, don't care. Somebody responded with a Will Smith gift. While he was bashing and disparaging black women all up and down the internet, she was plotting his demise and got away with it. If your preference is non-black, then go there and leave black women out of it. That self-hate is a hell of a drug and can be fatal. Now he's the poster child for the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Damn. Somebody responded, yeah, the other side of the grass just dirt. And so, you know, you go through the comments. People don't care. So Dave, and this is another thing that happens, like, right, is in the black community where it's like it's kind of like a way of saying you giving up a person to go to the other side. And so you had this meme of white people in there discussing something and black people on the outside, but inside the room is just white people's business. So it just is a way of them saying he's white people business. He was on that side, he wanted to be on that side, he wanted to blast black women. So that's who he's with. I'm about to jump in. I'm about to bring up the other brother, but I wanted to play what comedian Godfrey has said. He had posted on his threads, and this is from back in 2025 when this first happened. So it says, well, I ain't gonna read all that. I'm gonna let him speak for himself.
I don't know what kind of cleaning she was doing, but if I'm wrong, you just let me know. You know, it's okay to be wrong. But here's the problem. I thought it was fucked up. But then when I found out this dude had been dogging black women, he was dogging the shit.
My bad, I was rewinding it.
You know, I had to wait a few days to talk about this one. I know it's been about 6 days since it happened, but yo, people are still talking about it. This Telvin dude, black dude, who was murdered by his white girlfriend, Hannah Grace. What a last name, huh? She shot his ass. She said she was cleaning her gun. I'm not a gun expert, but I thought when you clean your gun, the bullets are usually empty. I don't know what kind of cleaning she was doing, but if I'm wrong, you just let me know. You know, it's okay to be wrong. But here's the problem. I thought it was fucked up. But then when I found out this dude had been dogging black women, he was dogging the shit out of them. I get really annoyed by these black dudes that shit on black women. Your mother's black, your grandmother's black, all the black women that are in your life, you wouldn't be here if it weren't for them, sacrificing, whatever. Your dusty ass wouldn't be fucking here if it weren't for black women who raised your ass, fed your ass, huh? Nursed you when you were sick. I'm so motherfucking tired of these kind of handkerchief head ass Negroes, ham bone Negroes that do this kind of shit. Listen, I want to feel bad for you, Telbo, but I don't really give a fuck. Karma's a bitch. Hey man, it is what it is. That's all I'm saying, is when you're in these interracial relationships for an agenda through self-hatred, you get what the fuck you deserve, huh? You play silly ass games, you win silly prizes. You know, I don't wish this on anybody, but the fact that you were shitting on black women like that, and you said, I'll die for my girl, I'll die. Well, you did. You did. Just like that Christian Obumseli, Nigerian dude, who his girlfriend, Courtney Clenny, killed his ass. Killed his ass. I think stabbed him to death or some shit like that. But he was another black dude that was dogging black women, shitting on black women. Huh? Man, the ancestors are answering, boy. I don't wish this on anybody, but the fact that you are dating a white woman because you hate black women is some sick ass shit. It's sick shit, and I don't feel bad for your jackass ass either. Did that even make sense? You know, and this goes for in the reverse. Black women that do that shit, dog black men and get with these white dudes, and white dudes be killed. I don't feel bad for your ass either. If you love somebody, you should love them because you love them, not because you hate your own race. And a lot of people tend to do that. They feel, oh, I'm gonna go on to the other side. Listen, and I can tell you from experience, I know people that are in interracial relationships, and black dudes that I know with their white girlfriends would say like the N-word and shit like that, and they would forgive it. I go, but if a black woman said something crazy to you, you would be all up in arms and shit, going off on her and not give her a chance. But a white woman just said the N-word and all kind of shit, and you gave her a chance because you hate yourself so much and have no fucking self-esteem. You think you got the prize. People that do this kind of shit in these relationships, you deserve what the fuck you get. You know, if you love somebody, you love them, not because you hate your own people. What kind of shit is that? That's trauma that you need to work on. I grew up in Chicago, most segregated city in the country till today, where I knew white dudes that had black girlfriends would call you nigga, and vice versa. So when people go, love transcends color, it's bullshit, you know? And I'm not saying that you can't love somebody, but do it because you love yourself, you love your people, and you love that person, not for some agenda bullshit. And for those two guys that have been killed, the great Paul Mooney, like I always said, you got your nigga wake-up call.
All right, so that's what Godfrey had to say, which is basically what I was saying earlier about people that weaponize their relationships, that seem to have an agenda. I don't know if these guys had an agenda other than just pissing black women off, which may have come from a place of hurt. Quick story. It'd be real quick. And I once knew a guy, right? And he was always mean to black women, man. I mean mean. I remember being out in public with this guy. He was a friend of my brother, right? And I remember the last time I was really around him, we were out hanging out, and this black girl had we were helping a friend move. This girl had just so happened to be moved into the neighborhood too, right? So it was just, it's like it's just some funny thing that happens, right? Where you're moving in, somebody's moving in at the same time, and you're both new to a place. So the homeboy we was helping move in, he waves across to the girl like, "Oh, what's up? Like, we moving in too." You know what I mean? And so she comes over to introduce herself. She's not ghetto, not ratchet, not anything. Very polite, shakes everybody's hand. When she gets to the guy that I'm talking about, when she gets to him to shake his hand, he turns his back on her. And it gets really awkward. And she's like, "Did I do something wrong?" And he goes, "Oh, nothing. I don't talk to your kind." Right. So anywho, after that, I was like, I can't. I was like, I don't want to be around that. It's just negativity, hatred, whatever. I might have said negativity. I'm young at the time. I don't know if I broke it down that much in my head at the time when it happened. I just know that I didn't like the behavior and I didn't want to be around it. Right? Years goes by. His mom passes away. I go to the funeral. When I go to the funeral, I'm hearing about him and his mom's relationship, how it was such an amazing relationship. They was like best friends. And after the funeral, I'm walking and talking with my brother. And I was like, man, it's so shocking the things that I heard in there. My brother's like, what do you mean? I said, man, when I heard about the relationship he had with his mom, black woman or whatever, I said, man, I was surprised to hear that he had that type of loving and just awesome relationship with his mom. And he said, why would you say that? And I was like, man, he don't like black women, man. You remember like all the stuff he did and said? And he was like, oh, he's like, bro, he said, I never told you why he liked that or why I think he liked that. I said, hell no, you ain't never told me no story. So then he tells me the story. The guy I'm talking about, and I'm not gonna say his name because he's kind of known, but not he's well known for where he's at. He's known, and I don't, that's in his past, so I'm not gonna say his name. But apparently he was engaged to a black woman, and he caught her cheating, but with her own cousin. And apparently that ripped him apart. And so that's why I was saying it can be sometimes from a place of hurt. You just never know how hurt is going to manifest. Let's see. What's up, Miss? Oh, what's up, Miss Keisha, Miss Sexy K? What's up? How you doing? Yeah, this is alive. You had to check and see. Yeah, sometimes, sometimes I be doing them pre-recordings just because, I want to put some content out and, but yeah, I'm live. I'm here. Let's see. Shout out to Brother T, says there's nothing wrong with interracial relationship when it's genuine, but when it's out of hate, someone's going to take a heavy loss. What'd you say? Also, he said Godfrey is right about Chicago too. It doesn't seem intentional, but it is. Now everyone kind of mixes and mingles, but I remember when I was a shorty, it wasn't like that. And shout out T also says some dudes definitely let their white girlfriend say the N-word too. I know they do that. I know they do that, brother. And he also said they don't do it around me because it took one time and one phone call to my little cousin to stop that BS. Had yes, Miss Keisha, I'm here. You say you had to check. Yeah, man, I'm here. Shout out to Eugene, said he's not FBA. Oh, you talking about Godfrey? Yeah, Godfrey, Africa. Where are you from in Africa? Where is he from in Africa? I don't know. Shout out to Warren. He said this is the first I've heard about passport women. Oh, when I mentioned, man, you ain't seen like, man, I think people don't talk about them because they be like these older women and they be going to hook up. I know I watched one video, it was talking about like these it was mainly like white women going over to Jamaica, like paying these dudes, sleeping with them. But you have these women, they go to these other countries and stuff. I just don't know if it's that many of them. I think people just ignore them. Or it's just normalized because people will usually just call it a girls trip, like the infamous girls trip. And they go out the country and stuff. But yeah, you definitely got women going over to sleep with these guys and stuff. They got a whole market, man, of I think, but you know what? People usually don't even talk about male prostitutes until like the Diddy trial. People really never bring them up. But a lot of male prostitutes, women definitely travel and go out the country and be sleeping with men. Yes, they do it all the time. Oh yeah, Miss K. I see you changed your name. Yeah, that's why I had messed up. At first, I was like, Miss Sexy K, Miss. But yeah, I can tell you had because you had the same picture. Shout out T, said he thinks Godfrey is Nigerian. Okay, Eugene said yeah, and he's Nigerian. Yeah, talking about us. Eugene, he always put on for the black people. I get it. It's his audience. It took me years. Godfrey been around for so damn long. It took years before I realized he was African. A lot of people, because when you're young, growing up and stuff, I just see somebody, I'm like, oh, they black. That's all I think about. You know what I mean? All right, so moving on to the next guy, which is the death of Christian Toby. Oh, I don't know how to say his last name. It's Obumseli. Obumseli. I don't know. Anyway. So he's up next. So on April the 3rd, 2022, police responded to a luxury high rise in Miami's Edgewater district where they found 27-year-old Christian Obumseli dying from a stab wound to the chest. His girlfriend, OnlyFans model Courtney Clenny, claimed she acted in self-defense. But as the investigation unfolded, disturbing evidence emerged. Elevator footage showing Clenny physically attacking Obumseli. Weeks earlier, audio recordings of her using racial slurs and witness statements describing her as the aggressor. Despite this, she wasn't arrested until August when she was finally charged with second-degree murder. I think, and you know what? And the thing with this guy, the stuff he was saying about like black women or the blacks was crazy to me because he was with an OnlyFans girl that was whooping his ass. That's what made his just like, dude, you was saying all that for real? Like, it was crazy. And I got a website that's gonna go over his tweets. So, let me play these news clips real quick, get them out the way. This is for the Obumseli dude girlfriend that stabbed. I'm just playing some new jog your memory.
To the OnlyFans model accused of stabbing her boyfriend to death. Back in the courtroom today, a judge denying Courtney Clenny's release on bond while she awaits trial.
NBC6's Shanae Amara is joining us live from court. Shanae, what have they said so far?
Yeah, that ruling came down just minutes ago, and a lot of back and forth inside the courtroom from the defense team as the judge denied allowing release or allowing bond for Courtney Clenny as she awaits that murder trial. But let's go to some video because I want to give you a visual look at exactly what happened inside the courtroom. Now, a big issue here for the judge, whether there is a flight risk for that OnlyFans model accused of murdering her boyfriend. The judge ultimately siding with prosecutors denying her release as she awaits trial for the killing of Christian Obumseli. Clenny came out just before 11 this morning, cuffed in her red jumpsuit. She sat and spoke with attorneys ahead of the hearing, wiping back tears as families on both sides, her family and the Obumselis, waited in the gallery for the hearing to begin. The judge cited concerns, including the possibility of a flight risk in her denial of bond, which Clenny's defense objected to, arguing that she doesn't have the money to be a flight risk. But on the other side, the family attorney representing the Obumseli says they are satisfied by this ruling.
The evidence was clear that she has no money left in her bank accounts. Part of it was used to purchase a home, which...
Who gives a fuck if she ain't had no money? I just want to rewind it, man. You saw she was jumping on that man. Like, what the hell? Oh, okay. Let me rewind it real quick. Like this.
Waited in the gallery for the hearing to begin. The judge cited concerns, including the possibility of a flight risk in her denial of bond, which Clenny's defense objected to, arguing that she doesn't have the money to be a flight risk. But on the other side, the family attorney representing the Obumseli says they are satisfied by this ruling.
The evidence was clear that she has no money left in her bank accounts. Part of it was used to purchase a home, which is not a liquid asset. Measures could be taken to secure that property with a bond. Her OnlyFans contract was canceled immediately back in April. She does not have the ability to make these monies, as the state alleged. And as the judge unfortunately adopted their view, we think that's incorrect.
So the family flew in for this decision. They are very grateful, and their faith in this system has been renewed. And at this point, we look forward to the ultimate justice is when the jury of her peers find her guilty.
Now, Clenny, the former OnlyFans model, her team went on to maintain that they believe that she was a victim of domestic violence. They also say this judge's ruling prevents her from getting the necessary treatment for PTSD that she needs. On the other side, the Obumseli's attorney says that he was the one who was a victim. The next court date is February 6th. For now, reporting live, Shanae Amara, NBC6 News.
Just let me apologize.
Man, that's crazy and insane. And of course, new trial date set, and that's from December in 2025. Let me see. I'm trying to see if there's any verdict for this person. I don't even think they've finished up everything yet. Yeah, I think it's still ongoing from all that long time ago. I don't think she's been sentenced or anything like that yet. So let's get into it. Oh, first of all, I want to say what's up to my brother, Mr. Marcus Banks. What up, brother? How you doing, man? I'm glad to see you in here, man. I missed you last week, man. We was talking about the freaky mayor that was getting kids drunk at the pool party, man. Shout out to Miss Keisha says, Miss K said she was the victim and he had the stitches. Exactly. She beat the hell out of that man. I don't know how she could ever be confused for a victim. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Let me see. All right, where am I at now? Go to my y'all know I be going to my notes. All right. So the now. So she's charged with second-degree murder. Of course, people are now like, oh man, white woman kills a black man. And it's all this evidence of her being aggressive, her attacking him, beating him up and stuff. But let me tell you, the controversy intensified when Obumseli's old tweets resurfaced, where he reportedly said things like, my bad, my phone's ringing. That pisses me off. I hate when them spam people, man, they get on my nerves. They need to do an investigation into them people. Now, the controversy intensified when Obumseli's old tweets resurfaced, where he reportedly said things like, black women are not my type. That's begin quote, end quote, begin quote. He also said, I can't stand black women. And that's confusing to me because you was dating a white OnlyFans girl that was beating you up. Why would you have something against black women? That it just makes no sense that he would say these things. Now, these statements reported by BET and News One created a cultural divide similar to Osborne's case. Many black women felt emotionally detached from the story, saying they couldn't rally behind someone who publicly rejected them. Others argued that regardless of his tweets, the evidence pointed to a pattern of abuse and a violent death that demanded justice. And to be honest, I get what those black women are saying. Does he deserve justice? Yeah, he was murdered. They're just saying you're not going to get me to march down no damn street about it. The police just going to have to do their job. And that's understandable. I think, I don't know if your pride, your standards, I don't know if that would allow you to fight for a person like that after I'm hearing them. And I'm just, so I'm just saying that in response to just community reaction. I'm trying to offer understanding for both, from both sides. Shout out to brother T in the comment says, yeah, there's no way these dudes have no self-respect whatsoever. Ain't no way I'm staying with a crazy bee like that. It take one freak out with all that screaming and I'm out. Yeah, T. They say she beat him up and calling him racial slurs, and he still didn't leave. Shout out Mr. Marcus Banks. I missed a lot. man, yeah, you ain't missed too much, brother, man. You ain't missed too much. Shout out Miss K says that the lady was mentally deranged. All right. So let's talk about community reaction. The community's reaction mirrored the Osborne case. Some Black women said they felt nothing when they heard about Obumseli's death because his tweets made them feel unseen and disrespected. Others said they were torn. They didn't approve of his comments, but they recognized the racial dynamics and the evidence of abuse. A growing number of voices emphasized that justice cannot be conditional, especially when the victim is Black and the suspect is white. And I think that justice itself cannot be conditional. But I'll be damned if social media justice is conditional. You can't escape it. You can't escape it. You can't escape it. It's just we're social creatures, and it's how we are. Now let me go over. I'm gonna play some more news clips and videos, and then I want to go over his tweets and why they were so problematic.
Just let me apologize. No! Okay, you don't need to. Don't
Right now, toxic tapes. We're hearing recordings made by the man who was stabbed to death by his own girlfriend. Before he was killed, Christian Obumseli documented a series of violent arguments with his OnlyFans girlfriend, who has since been charged with his murder. Local 10's Rosh Lowe is live with the just released evidence. Rosh.
Tonight we have these recordings which are very disturbing, and I want to warn you, the crime scene photos are very disturbing as well.
This is Courtney Clenny after prosecutors say she killed her boyfriend, Christian Obumseli. She's left with only one fake fingernail, blood on her hands, blood all over the apartment. These are the crime scene photos, one by one, showing the carnage. The defense maintains she was a victim of domestic violence. Pictures of her hands taken to see if there were any defensive wounds. And now additional new evidence. Obumseli was recording Clenny in the months leading up to his death on his phone. Take a listen.
But you hit me. Shut the fuck up.
And listen to this racial expletive. Once again, the defense saying this was self-defense. Prosecutors arguing otherwise. They say this death was not an accident or done in self-defense. And now we are getting a close.
And hold on, I want to rewind that because I don't like the whole macho shit. And you talking about Black women. Where is it at? Let me see. Did I skip over it? Let me see. Watch. I don't like the whole macho shit. And you talking about Black women and all this other stuff. And this woman just straight up punking you. It is insane to me.
Offensive wounds. And now additional new evidence. Obumseli was recording Clenny in the months leading up to his death on his phone. Take a listen.
But you hit me. Shut the fuck up.
And
he said, but you hit me. And she goes, shut the fuck up, bitch. And he just shuts the fuck up.
And listen to this racial expletive. Once again, the defense saying this was self-defense. Prosecutors arguing otherwise. They say this death was not an accident or done in self-defense. And now we are getting a closer look at the scene where Christian Obumseli lost his life.
Obumseli was stabbed in the chest, and at the end of the day, the jury will have to decide in this case whether this was self-defense or second-degree murder.
Man, you know what? I look at that crime scene and then I look at her after the crime scene. I'm trying to figure out a way to say this, right? It's like he was like this was his drug, like his addiction. I see no evidence that he even fought back. It was it looks as if he let her take his life. Like he was that into that woman. Like, you know what I mean? That's crazy. Shout out to my brother, Mr. Marcus Banks. Yes, please, man. Thumbs up the video, like and share, subscribe. If this is your first time, don't forget to hit that notification bell. All right.
Welcome to Risky Behavior. ENT.
All right. I got another video. I'm going to play some of her racial slurs, and I want to play that before I get into his tweets. Shout out Law and Crime Network. This is from Law and Crime Network, I believe. All right, the title of this audio is audio catches OnlyFans model calling boyfriend racial slurs weeks before she killed him.
Just months before she stabbed her boyfriend, OnlyFans model Courtney Clenny called him a string of racial slurs.
Yes, thank you. Coming from Georgia, thank you.
The newly released and disturbing audio was recorded by Christian Obumseli, who was later stabbed by Clenny and died as a result of his injuries.
I am so sorry. So shut up and let me slap you.
The recording captures an argument between the couple about someone Obumseli ran into while on a bike ride.
Get off of me! You literally talked to her without telling me! Courtney, I was on a bike ride and she passed me and I said, hi, you and Courtney are having a live chat. My bad, I forgot to tell you that. That doesn't make you to act and call me a
The audio of this argument was recorded just months before Obumseli was stabbed on April 3rd.
I'm so sorry.
In Clenny's 911 call, Obumseli can be heard saying he can't feel his arm and believes he's going to die.
I can't feel my arm. 3101. I can't feel my arm.
4 months after Obumseli died, Clenny was charged with second-degree murder in his death. Since then, body camera video of a separate domestic incident was released. It took place just days before Obumseli's death. At the time, Clenny told officers she wanted a restraining order against him.
All right, so what do you want to say? I want to be like, I want to be like exonerated, I guess, of like anything wrong. And I want him, okay, the police are here. I want a restraining order against Christian Obumseli.
We don't issue those.
Because, no, I'm serious. Can I do that? Where
You have to go to court. You have to go to
Okay,
downtown.
but how can I make myself first? Because I know him and he would do it. How can I make myself first?
You gotta get
Clenny maintains she stabbed Obumseli out of self-defense. Her attorney says the body camera video shows she was seeking help from a, quote, abusive and violent relationship, but that she was failed by the system. Prosecutors say the pair were involved in a combative relationship, but that Obumseli was the victim of domestic abuse. For the latest developments in this story and all things true crime,
Oh man, look at him. He looks so happy. There goes my baby. It's so funny, man. Look, when you see these people mugshot pictures and how they actually look, it is so different from the filters, man. Like, the fuck out of here. That ain't how she look. Oh man, what's up? Warren says, shout out to Warren says, there are some men that didn't get the attention they wanted from a particular demographic and chose the other that gave them the attention. You know what? It has to be something to that, because if he's with the woman that he's with and he truly is happy and he loves her and that's where he want to be, there ain't no need to really talk about the other women, right? Ain't no need to bring them up at all. No need to bring them up. And I was saying earlier, it's like I think in a way he let he let her kill him. I don't believe he fought back at all. The same way he sat there and you have this woman calling him a nigga. And his response is, that didn't give you the right to call me a nigger. Like, what the fuck kind of response is that? Couldn't have been me. The only thing that audio would have caught was her saying nigga, and then you would have heard a body hit the floor. And then audio would have ceased. My bad, I forgot I'm on YouTube. What am I supposed to say? Allegedly after that? Oh, I'm just playing. Shout out Miss K says, whatever, she probably planned this. Yep. She definitely planned this. All right, let's go to his tweet, because his brother was going through a lot. And I couldn't believe what they're saying, that and this is what other people have gathered and stuff. Of course, I'm not over on his X page or something like that, but I just looked up articles and people that have gathered the information. So you have 30 Christian Obumseli tweets and the controversy behind them right here in this article. All right. And shout out my brother T in the chat was saying that he think this dude Christian Obumseli, he said he think he worse than the other guy. Like the guy that we talked about first, Telvin, I don't think he saw that coming, perhaps. But ain't no way Christian didn't see that coming. Like, ain't no way. He had more than enough warning to get the hell up out of there. So it says Christian Obumseli, a Nigerian American man who gained national attention after his death in April of 2022, is now the subject of renewed public scrutiny due to a series of old tweets resurfacing online. These tweets, posted between 2011 and 2020, show a repeated pattern of remarks that criticize, generalize, and in some cases demean Black women while expressing a preference for white women. The post includes statements about appearance, behavior, stereotypes, and race-related jokes. And something that comes to my mind, and this is a conversation for another day. I probably need to get some information together and see, right? Because I don't know that because he's Nigerian, does he even see himself as Black? And I know who was that bringing up? I think Warren brought that up earlier when we was talking about Godfrey and Eugene. I don't know if we can feel betrayed if these people don't identify themselves as Black, I guess. But here it says, in this article, though, it says Christian Obumseli was described by the Miami Herald in 2022 as a young Black professional. So maybe I don't. It's crazy. I just said that, and then I'm reading this because it's like he might have used it as like something that looks cool in an article, but did he really identify? Did he see him talk? Did he feel that him talking about Black women was did he view that like that's wrong? I'm just wondering. It's just a thought that I'm having, because he might not identify as Black. And when he says Black, do he mean all Black women? Do he mean Nigerian Black women as well? Or do he just mean the American Black women? I don't know. It's so crazy. Fuck it. Let me go on down to his tweets. Do we want to go over the timeline? Let me see. I guess I will. My bad. Forgive me, y'all. I'm stumbling. I'm coming up with different arguments while I'm doing this show, and gonna stop doing that. I'm just gonna go ahead and do what I was gonna do, and I'll make another video if I want to break down some other stuff. All right, so Christian Obumseli was he was described as a young black professional, a label that accurately captured his identity with a minimal online presence. He lived largely outside the spotlight until his name became associated with a disturbing and ultimately fatal relationship. Toby was murdered by his girlfriend, social media influencer Courtney Clenny, in what authorities have since described as a violent and toxic relationship. So Courtney Clenny, known online as Courtney Taylor, was a 26-year-old Instagram and OnlyFans model at the time of Toby's death. With over 2 million followers, she was known for her party lifestyle. Her past included 2 DWI arrests in Texas, first at 18, then again at 25, reflecting a history of reckless behavior. She now faces a second-degree murder charge and remains in custody. Toby was 27 years old when he was fatally stabbed in the chest by Clenny on April 3rd of 2022 inside their Miami luxury apartment. Police arrived after the 911 call and transported him to the hospital where he died from his injuries. Clenny admitted to the stabbing shortly after, claiming it was an act of self-defense. She said she threw a knife at him, but the timeline of injuries raised doubts. She threw the knife at him. Who is she, Yotshu Mitsu or somebody? She couldn't do that much damage just throwing it, and she knows that. Right. So earlier that day, Toby had left the apartment, returned with food. Within 12 minutes of his return, an argument erupted, allegedly triggered by jealousy over a brief greeting he gave to a female neighbor. During the confrontation, Courtney's mother, who was on the call with her daughter at the time, overheard yelling. The stabbing occurred soon after. Investigations uncovered a long pattern of domestic violence. Courtney had contacted police several times in the final month of Toby's life to report abuse. However, texts, photos, and videos later recovered from Toby's iCloud told a different story, one where he was frequently the victim. In 2021, he reported being stabbed in the leg and suffered a head injury. That's crazy. I don't know why he would stay in this relationship at all. And while staying in this relationship, be online talking shit about black women. And this goes back to where we were talking in the chat where we were feeling like she might have planned this, because if she was contacting the police at the time, trying to report him it seems like she was trying to build up a reason as why she might need to protect herself. It just so happened it didn't work. He also shared that she called him racial slurs. One text read, "Is love going to kill me? February was the worst month I had so far. I got cheated on. I got called that word again. I got slapped in my stitches. That has reopened multiple times and it's not healing fast enough." So he's online talking bad about black women while living with a white woman who calls him nigger, cheats on him, and beats his ass. And he got slapped in his stitches so hard they reopened. This is insane. It says Toby's mother, Chio, learned of his death the next day and someone called about his status as an organ donor. Family and friends later said he had become increasingly isolated since entering a relationship with Clenny, a sharp contrast to the caring and dependable person they had known. I don't know how caring he had to be for his tweets to be what they were on the internet. I don't get that. And he wasn't that isolated if people could pull his tweets up. The case highlights the broader and often overlooked issue of male victims in abusive relationships. According to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, 1 in 4 men will experience physical abuse from a partner. However, many do not report it due to societal stigma. Men are often dismissed as abusers themselves, making it difficult for them to seek help or even acknowledge the abuse. Anywho, let's get on to these let's get into these tweets, the good stuff. Toby's case shows that abuse can happen to anyone. The signs were there, but overlooked assumptions about victims can delay help and make situations worse. Anyway, stating a preference. So this is Toby. This is something he tweeted, and this is back from 2011. And he tweeted out, "Want a white girl, #help." This from 2011 in May, a brief tweet where Obumseli shares a preference for white women, tagged humorously as a plea. This next tweet they're titling it "Loud Black Self." So it says here he tweeted, well, here is the tweet. "Martin show is just too funny. Gina be hating too much with her loud black self. #typical." He was just putting weird shit, wasn't he? Right. So Obumseli makes a reference to the sitcom Martin, specifically calling out the character Gina with the phrase "loud black self." While it appears to be framed as a joke, critics have pointed out that his language reinforces harmful stereotypes about black women being aggressive or overly loud. His third tweet, at Modern Hippie, he's atting someone saying, "Why is there always that one ghetto black boy in the back talking throughout class? Get out, chill." Oh, okay. Okay. Number 4 is rejecting black girls. He tweeted, "Can't believe #OOMF thinks I talk to black girls when I don't." Okay. This tweet reflects a dismissive and derogatory attitude toward black girls. It reinforces negative stereotypes and promotes exclusion based on race, which many found offensive and harmful. Number 5, his tweet says, "OOMF, black girls are born knowing how to shake they ass. Me, honestly, I don't care. They not my type." Wow. I'm beginning to realize why these people don't give two damns that he got stabbed. Wow. That's crazy. Who tweets some shit like that? Shout out T says it's about black American women though, not a Nigerian. So, okay, so you feel like he's only going to be targeting. He wouldn't probably target Nigerian women, especially with his family. He'd probably get in trouble. So yeah, I agree with you. Number 6, black girls aren't the only ones who can cook in the world. Okay, I think everybody knew that, but seems like he's using that as an attack. It says this tweet drew attention for its dismissive tone towards black women, though likely intended as a general opinion. Many later viewed it as unnecessarily divisive and disrespectful. Number 7, he tweeted, "The way black girls disgrace themselves on TV." Okay. Number 8, he tweeted, "Full of ignorant black women." Okay. Number 9, he tweeted, "Once again, I'm tired of these black girls in my government class." This was Pierce, he tweeted this back in 2012. Number 10, I don't know what. Oh, it says he tweeted at Tony Patron Akata. It says Akata is a controversial term, sometimes viewed as derogatory when used to describe African Americans. He uses it without context or explanation. Number 11, he tweeted, "White girls wearing white booty shorts everywhere. Now that's what I'd like." Okay. Number 12, thirst of black people. Okay, so he tweeted, the thirst of black people in college, shaking my head. I don't know what he some of these tweets we don't even know what he's talking about though. Number 13, he tweets, when the beautiful white girls hashtag at I don't know what's that. Hashtag ATPLANOEAST wear yoga tights. I guess that's at a gym or something like that. So he's in love with, he's over in love with white women, and he's like, it just seems fake the way he's tweeting and putting this stuff. It's like, but above that, he's talking about the thirst of black people, but he's online. Like, this is just a thirsty ass comment to put. This is another conversation he's having with that at Tony person. He has another tweet that says, LOL, I love white people. Shit, me too, girl. All right. Number 15, we have him doing tweets where he's responding to race to a racist joke. Oh man, what's up, man? I got my brother the Prince of Petty in the building, man. What up, brother? All right, let me continue to get through these tweets. All right, so Hoover says at the funny racist, I wish black people could take a joke. I'm really not racist, okay? But they put old KKK like the Ku Klux Klan. Like, it's not that we can't take a joke. It's just that shit ain't funny. It's not clever. Like, it's not clever. Now, or some people just have poor delivery, right? At Toby Obumseli, heard that. Now, here he goes. At Mad Hoovers, which is that, heard that. LOL, I guess I have to prepare for a racist joke every day from you, huh? Wow. Hoover responds, maybe a couple. Here he go. All right, Thug Boss, I guess I have to find something for you every day starting now. I guess, is this how he flirted? Like, or maybe he had a kink and he was in the race play too, because I don't know. He had his girlfriend that stabbed him to death was calling him nigga. He didn't find no issue with it. All right, number 16, talking about white girls and culture. He tweeted at Stuart Little, LOL, I can teach a white girl a little about the African culture. All right, it's number 17th tweet. It's funny when my buds think I get offended when they say I black joke. Probably the last person to care about that nonsense. All right. Obumseli downplays racial jokes, indicating he doesn't mind them even when they are offensive. Number 18, comparing women by race. At Molly Mann, he tweeted, white titties over black titties, just saying. Ha. Okay. Obumseli publicly made a racially charged comparison between women's bodies, prioritizing white women over black women in a sexualized manner. Let's see. Number 19th tweet, criticizing Black Lives Matter timing. Football can be the time venue for the, let's see. So he tweeted, football can be the time /venue for breast cancer /military/DV awareness, but bring up Black Lives Matter and it's not the time. LOL. This tweet stands out for a different reason, challenging the hypocrisy of social cause timing, though tone is unclear due to LOL. Okay. It's number 20 tweet is smiling more, breathing more. This tweet reads as a peaceful affirmation, but it's marked with irony considering Obumseli's violent death in 2022. CBS News later reported on Clooney's arrest for second-degree murder, uncovering a history of abuse. The phrase might reflect a coping mechanism in the face of unseen personal stress. This tweet is emphasizing mutual effort in relationships. They say, make sure the people you are helping out are helping themselves as well. This reflects a belief in mutual effort in relationships. After his death, the advice stands in stark contrast to reports of ongoing abuse, including a 2022 elevator altercation and a 2021 Las Vegas charge, raising questions about whether he was applying this wisdom to his own life. Of course he wasn't. And this tweet ain't from that long ago. It's from 2019. Tweet number 22, struggles hidden behind positivity. He tweeted, life has been great, just not showing it. This post hints at a hidden emotional or mental burden. Later revelations of Clooney's abusive behavior, including physical attacks and emotional volatile. I wish Prince was here to help me out. I don't know why I can't say that word. Volatility align with the idea that Obumseli's outward silence masked their inner struggles. I know it's volatile, but the TY fucking me up. I'm moving on. Y'all can laugh at me. Yo, T be like, yo, that English is kicking your ass. Oh man. Let's see. I'm trying to see that he put any more other racial tweets in. Yeah, I mean, pretty much it's, the rest of these tweets is just pointing out the hypocrisy. I mean, basically he's just full of shit, to be honest. And it is what it is. For a guy to be tweeting all that stuff and to end up with the woman that he ended up with is just insane to me. I cannot comprehend it. I think definitely somebody hurt his feelings. I know a part of Black culture, there's this saying where it's like not Black enough, not Black enough, not white enough, kind of like that feeling of not fitting in. I'm pretty sure he probably liked it Black girls back in college or something like that. Some of his tweets were him expressing frustration being in class with Black people. And so maybe, in college, maybe he struggled when it came to dating Black girls, and a way to get over that was to pretend like he never liked them at all. So I'll diss him. I'll act like I'm not interested in them, and I'll go after this other group of people, and I'll put them over you, and I'll just pretend like I never liked you, and I never wanted you, and I never wanted to date you, because it's easier than just admitting that you want to be with them, So I think it boils down to just him not being able to handle rejection when he was younger. All right, there you go. Oh man, where am I at? Okay. Now this is risky behavior ENT. So I want to give my analysis of the risky behavior. Number one is the risky behavior of the victims. That's Christian Obumseli. And the other victim is Telvin Osborne. Both Osborne and Obumseli engaged in behavior that alienated the very community most likely to advocate for them. Their public comments about Black women created emotional distance, and their relationships with partners who displayed aggression put them in dangerous situations. This doesn't justify what happened to them, but it explains why their deaths sparked more debate than unity. Their choices placed them in vulnerable positions, both socially and physically. Number two is the risky behavior of the community. The community's reaction also revealed risky behavior. The tendency to withhold empathy when the victim's past comments or lifestyle choices conflict with our values. This selective outrage is dangerous. When we decide someone doesn't deserve justice, we reinforce the same system that has historically denied justice to Black people. Justice cannot depend on whether we like the victim. Justice must be consistent or it becomes meaningless. Now, I believe I covered everything, man. I have to let me make sure I showed all my videos. I showed Godfrey. Yeah, man. It's so honestly, I'm on both people's sides, but that's why I split justice down the middle. I think they deserve justice when it comes to legal justice. I would not say they deserve justice when it comes to social media, because I cannot tell a group of people that you've been disrespecting online, running their name through the motherfucking mud. I cannot lie to those people and tell them they should care about you. And I just want to say that before I give my final thoughts. But all right, let me switch back over to being professional. These two cases force us to confront a painful truth. When we turn our backs on each other, we make it easier for the system to turn its back on us too. You don't have to like someone to believe they deserve justice. You don't have to approve of their choices to demand accountability, and you don't have to agree with their lifestyle to say a crime was committed and someone must answer for it. If we only fight for the perfect victims, we will never win. If we let our emotions decide who deserves justice, then we are no different from the system that has denied justice to Black people for centuries. Justice is not emotional. Justice is not selective. Justice is justice, even when it hurts. This is risky behavior, ENT, where we talk about the things people are afraid to say and the truth we cannot afford to ignore. I appreciate you all. You be blessed. I went but an hour and a half. This was a great conversation. Make sure if you're watching this on the replay, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Don't forget to get in the comments. Let me know what you think. Maybe you disagree or maybe you agree with something I said. It don't matter. Just put it in the comments. If it's too mean, I'm going to ignore it and I'm not going to respond to your negativity. So keep it. What the women say, keep it cute. All right. Cool. And let me know what y'all think about this, man. Did these guys, dare I say, I get the irony. I don't want to say they got what they deserve, but some people feel that way. But anywho, man, y'all just let me know what y'all think. I'm about to end this. I'm about to hop over on Clubhouse. If you ever want to come join us over on Clubhouse in the elevator, I I usually include the link to that in most descriptions. So anytime you want to do that, you can. I'm about to head out. Hey, yo, Prince, is you there? It's for you, bro.
Fuck you. Fuck you too. You acting like you ain't. Fuck I'll you never be one of you motherfuckers. I'll never be one of you motherfucking.
All right. And that's a black joke that we can laugh at that was executed perfectly. All right. I'm about to head out. I appreciate you all. Shout out to all my mods. Shout out to my brother T, my brother Prince Petty, and my brother Mr. Marcus. Shout out to Miss K. It was great seeing you and talking to you today. Shout out to Eugene and shout out to Warren. I appreciate you all. Be blessed. And be looking out for this week. I'm gonna have more content coming out. And shout out to Ballin' Man as well, Ballin' Man 89. All right, appreciate you all. Have a blessed day. Till I see you next time.
Risky behavior.